Kindred. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. In this video we are going to be reviewing Kindred, which is a very chilling, disturbing and haunting British horror movie which is focused on a pregnant woman that is trapped by her deceased partner's family members, and it has a little bit of a slow start, but when it gets going it is honestly full of panic and tension, and you're really with this lead character as she is desperately trying to escape this very traumatic situation, and is just so powerful when you realize what's going on. And in this video we are going to be breaking it all down for you in the typical way that we do on review videos. But in addition to that, we're also going to be talking about the themes and explaining the ending in this review and ending explained video for Kindred. So we are introduced to a couple, Ben and Charlotte, who are planning to move to Australia. However, Ben's controlling mother Margaret does not want them to go. One day, Ben very tragically has a fatal accident, and Charlotte, who is pregnant with Ben's child, suddenly against her will finds herself living with Margaret and her stepson Thomas. Slowly, bit by bit, they take away Charlotte's freedom and her sanity, and she is totally trapped in this house. And the film then explores whether or not she can survive, whether or not she can get out, and what really is Margaret and Thomas's secret plan. Now, from a positives point of view, I thought this film was incredibly gripping, and this situation where the Charlotte character is pretty much kidnapped and trapped against her will is really, really terrifying, especially in the few instances where she does escape. She is brought back into the mansion and nobody is trusting her and nobody is believing her, so she literally has nowhere to go to and no one to go to as well. And also, the more you find out about the villainous characters, it just really does put a chill down your spine. However, from a negatives point of view, I would say, the beginning of this movie has got a little bit of a slow start. I know they're obviously doing that because they're setting the scene, but I do feel like they could have sped that up or at least made it a little bit more interesting. Also, some of the set pieces in this movie, such as the locations that they go to, are pretty simple, and they could have pushed that aspect a little bit more. And also some of the storyline elements could have been expanded and explored a little bit more as well. But that being said, it is a truly gripping movie, and from a storyline point of view, I just think they did such a good job in really communicating this very powerful and terrifying storyline. So the cast and characters of Kindred honestly do such a good job, so let's go through them one by one. So first up we have Tamara Lawrance, who is playing the lead character of Charlotte, and she honestly does such an excellent performance in this movie. You really do understand exactly how she's feeling, what she's trying to do with all of her different plans, how she's feeling really trapped, how incredibly emotional she's feeling when nobody is listening to her and nobody is trusting her as well. And just the terror and the panic and the desperation that she's feeling, I just feel like the actress does such a good job in communicating all of that. Next up we have Edward Holcroft, who is playing the Ben character. Obviously this character gets killed off relatively early in this movie, so you don't see that much from this character. However, you do see enough in terms of establishing the relationship that he has with his mother, how very territorial and controlling she is, and actually how desperate this character was to escape her, but unfortunately he met a very tragic end. Speaking of the mother character, next up we have Fiona, who did a really, really good job in terms of playing the Margaret character. Very similar in terms of her Harry Potter character, not in terms of the two characters themselves, but in terms of playing a very evil villainous mother figure. In terms of the Margaret character in particular, she's incredibly controlling, very, very manipulative, also pretty entitled, and just an undercurrent of pure evil in this character as well. And you can also see how abusive this character is, and she doesn't care about how she treats people, what she says to them. All she cares about is herself and getting what she wants, which I think is just a truly evil person. Next up we have Josh Lowden, who is playing the Thomas character. In the beginning, you don't really know that much about this character. You do question some of the things that he's doing and some of the behaviors that he's exhibiting as well, but towards the end of this movie, when you really understand what this character is capable of and what he maybe could have done to the Ben character as well, it really does put a chill down your spine as well. Next up we have Chloe Pierre, who is playing the Jane character, the friend or friend to the Charlotte character, who you do initially think is a friend to the Charlotte character, but then she also does some pretty awful stuff as well. And then finally we have the Doctor, played by Anton. Really does show the Doctor that you really do not want to have in the GP office, because he obviously does some truly awful things as well. But from a casting characters point of view, I feel like they did a really good job in terms of really putting a chill down your spine. So when it comes to the visuals, I am pretty mixed, because on the one hand, I do feel like they could have pushed them a lot further because they are a little bit simplistic. However, on the other hand, it does really work as it is really, really creepy. The Victorian mansion that we are pretty much based in throughout the entire movie really does fill you with terror and make you feel really, really uncomfortable and really, really sorry for the Charlotte character. Also, there's a lot of symbolism in this movie as well, with all of the magpies and all of the crows, which are symbolic to bad omens and evil things going on. So I guess that was a little bit of a foreshadowing of the events to come. But from a visuals point of view, I think they're pretty mixed in Kindred. So in terms of comparisons, I think this movie is very close to Get Out, Us, and the TV series Them. In terms of the baby aspect, I think you can definitely compare it to Rosemary's Baby and the ones below as well. I would say Kindred maybe isn't exactly on the same level as these movies are, but I feel like from a storyline point of view, you can definitely make a lot of comparison. But like I said before, it does do its own thing as well. So in the end, it's really apparent that all the Margaret character really wanted was the baby from the Charlotte character. I am sure that the Thomas character was initially after a little bit of a relationship with the Charlotte character, but after she tried to escape from him on 2 occasions, I feel like he was kind of over that ambition, and also he was really digging the knife in when he was convincing her and everybody else around her that she is really mad, which really shows how physically and psychologically abusive the Margaret character and the Thomas characters were. In terms of the Charlotte character's mother was suffering from postnatal depression, and they were really twisting this in terms of making Charlotte and, like I said, everybody around her thinking that she is also suffering from some kind of a mental health disorder. Also, I actually think that the Thomas character was behind the death of the Ben character. I know they made it seem as if it was a tragic accident with the horse stampeding on the Ben character, but actually after the reveal that they were showing that the Thomas character murdered his own father, I definitely think he's capable of murdering the Ben character, and I feel like their motive for doing this is to then kidnap the Charlotte character and fundamentally steal her baby as well. I think it's really twisted that they were able to convince everybody around them as well, to coerce them into working together with the Margaret and Thomas character against the Charlotte character. For example, with her best friend Jane and the doctor, I just think is really, really terrifying that everybody was against Charlotte. And also, even though it's not overtly racist like Lovecraft Country and Them, I definitely think there's an undercurrent of racism through the actions of the characters in this movie. So for example, the white people feeling that they can take whatever they want from the black people and not having any consideration, sympathy or guilt for their actions as well. Also, the way in which the Margaret character was talking to the Charlotte character was really rude. She was definitely undermining her, and she didn't even want to go close to her when Charlotte was asking her to sit next to her in the bed. And of course, all of the oppression from the white people towards the black people, I feel like is very powerful and very terrifying as well. And like I said before as well, I feel like all of the crows and the magpies were symbolisms and foreshadowing for something very satanic and something very evil and very dark happening in this movie. So I definitely feel like they've got a lot of hidden messages and a lot of hidden meanings in Kindred. So overall, I wasn't sure about Kindred in the beginning, as it was a little bit slow, like I said, in terms of the first act of this movie. But then when the twist happened and when things really got going, I was totally hooked onto this movie. I thought it was incredibly gripping, incredibly intense, and the performances honestly were absolutely outstanding in this movie, which means for all of those reasons, I have to give it a solid 6 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.